I love speaking freely so the masses can hear what I have to say about different topics that plague my mind every day. Speaking freely with Ms Gigo is a show where I'm going to let all my thoughts come out and you can give your opinion too, 'cause you're speaking freely. Not only will I be speaking freely, I will be sharing my stories too, that will strike up a conversation. Speaking freely with Ms Gigo is a show where I'm going to let all my thoughts come out and you can give your opinion too, 'cause you're speaking freely. Come join me, let's have some fun on Speaking Freely with Ms Gigo.
Welcome everyone to Speaking Freely with Ms Gigo. Tonight, we got some great topics. We got topic number one we're going to talk about is creative flow. Meaning, those who are creatives know what I'm talking about. That there's always something playing in your mind in your creativity space. Like if you're a person who writes, like stories, there's always a story coming. Even though you already started writing one, another one just comes to you. That's what I mean by creative flow. It's so much creativity that you got to get it out. So we're going to be talking about that. Another topic we're going to be talking about is called Love Triangle. And then we have the What Would You Do segment. And that's What Would You Do segment. In the What Would You Do segment, rather, here's the scenario. You're dating a twin and didn't know it. But here's the caveat to that. Your friends see said twin out, think it's the person you're dating, and call you and tell you that your person is cheating on you. What would you do? So that is the What Would You Do scenario for tonight's show. If you would date, what would you do if you would date a twin and didn't know it? And the caveat is your friend see said twin thinking it's your man or your woman, and they call you or text you and say they're cheating on you. What would you do? So, for our first topic, which is the creative flow topic, we're we're gonna be discussing different creative ways that different creativities that come to you. It could be writing, it could be cooking. For people who like to cook, it ain't gotta be necessarily have to do with writing. But if you're creative, you know a lot of creative stuff come to mind, and you got to get it out of you, so you write it down. Then more stuff start coming. So that's what we're going to be talking about when we come back from the commercial break. Creative flow.
All right, this is Speaking Freely with Ms Gigo. Creative flow is the topic coming up after these words from Nighthawk Network. As always, my friends, y'all know the title. Nighthawk Network, our voices for our people.
Oh boy.
as I wake up in the morning, I'ma get a bag. Get a bag, yeah, I'ma get a bag. Long as I wake up in the morning, I'ma get a bag. Get a bag, yeah, I'ma get a bag. Long as I wake up in the morning, I'ma get a bag. Get a bag, yeah, I'ma get a bag. Long as I wake up in the morning, I'ma get a
The following program is a Nighthawk Network presentation.
All right, and we are back. So, in my audio version of this podcast, I talked about being in my creative flow because not only do I write lyrics, songwriting, I also write stories. So, a lot of the times when lyrics don't come to me, stories come to me. And I've written a lot of stories that I haven't finished because I keep getting ideas for more stories, or I write lyrics, get ideas for more lyrics. So I'm always in a flow of creativity. So one of the stories that I have written, right,
Hold on,
is
bro.
called
You see the comments?
"What's Up, Hugh?"
Yeah,
The
from now on,
sports
when we get a
guru.
comment, we'll ring the bell for you, all right?
Alrighty. So I'm always in my "What's up, Coach V? What's up, champ?" So I'm always in my creative flow. So either writing lyrics or writing a story. So one of the stories I wrote, I wouldn't say murder mystery, but I would say like a thriller, is called the Tequila Murders. And right after writing that, another story came to me. And they're connected with each other, called the Hennessy Murders. Now, in the Tequila Murders, the guy who's the murderer in the story, he started his behavior when he was younger because he wasn't getting, I guess you could say, the affection and love from his mother. And that's what made him go on his spree, his killing spree. He started out raping women and then it went into a killing spree. And one of the women he raped, he got her pregnant, and that's where the how the two stories meet because the woman he raped that he got pregnant, she had a baby, gave it up for adoption. And in the Hennessy murders, the main character, the killer, in that story is his daughter. And that's how they connect. But she don't know she don't know that's her dad, but they connect. He's also, I think he so he has so in the Tequila murders, so in New York City there's a small town in New York City that I based the backdrop, the scenery for. He's from New York, but where he was committing these murders is in a small town in New York. In New York, and I can't remember the name of it because it's not coming to me. But it's a small town. You know, small towns ain't that many people in there. So what he was doing is, and how you get to this town, you gotta take a ferry boat. So he's taking the ferry. So he's taking the ferry boat over, and he's taking the women. So, like the ferry boat you could bring your car on. That's the kind of boat you take over. He's doing that, and that's where he's dumping the bodies. That he's killing these women and dumping the bodies there. in the backyard of his brother's house that he felt he should have got, but it was handed down to his brother. And most houses have a shed, but in the shed there's this little, I guess you could say, bunker, like a bunker in there, and that's where he's been going and dumping these bodies. And so that's basically, and then the Hennessy murders, the way she's killing is the guy, she go to the club, go out to the club, hanging out with her coworkers every weekend. They go to the club, have some fun, and she runs, as always in the club, she runs into the club stalker. Club stalker is a guy who's always following you around in the club, trying to holler at you. You turn them down multiple times, but they still follow you around the club. That's what I dubbed the club stalker. So every time she go out to the club, she runs into a club stalker. They won't leave her alone. She can't have no peace with hanging out with her friends. And her drink of choice is Hennessy. So when she goes out, that's her drink of choice, Hennessy. And so the club stalker basically kind of ruin her night. So she goes to the bar. She buys a whole bottle because clubs, they sell bottles. You want the top shelf. They sell the bottles for a certain price. Well, she buy the bottle. She goes outside with the bottle because she want to get away from Club Stalker because he's like ruining her night. She goes out. He follows her without her knowing he followed her. So she's at the alleyway of the club, and he sees her. And there he go again, messing with her. So she's like, you know what? I'm gonna give you what you want. She pretended she wanted to be with him right there in the alleyway, and then she killed him right there in the alleyway. In the alleyway, there's no way. There's a way in. There's no like other way out. Some alleyways have a two-way. You can go in one way, come out the other way, but this alleyway you can't. And it's attached to the club, and the back door of the club is there. So she did what she did, and how they dubbed it the Hennessy murders is the Hennessy bottle that she took out the club, she put it by the dead body. So every time she go out and she do her thing, there's a Hennessy bottle. So they call it the Hennessy murders. And they're connected because she's the daughter of the killer in the other story. And it's like I come up with all these stories and I don't finish them because more stories are coming to me from writing these stories. Like I was like, let me think of a thriller to write, and then that come to me, and then I was like, oh, I'm gonna write another one, and then now another one's come to mind to start writing that I haven't started yet, called the Heartthrob Murders, and I'm contemplating on how I'm gonna do this one because I don't know if I want the killer or when he's on his killing spree to kill all the beautiful people, the people those people who think they the ish, kill those type of people, or he's handsome, he's so handsome that they wouldn't think he would do anything like that, and he's killing all the ugly who people deem the ugly people. So I don't know which way I want to go with this story yet, but that is the next story that came to mind, and it came to me while I was sleeping. Of all things, it came to me while I was sleeping. So this is what I mean by being in your creative flow. That things come to you creative wise while you're sleeping, while you're awake. You know. So have you? I want to ask the people that is tuned in. Have you ever been in a creative flow? Have you ever had a creative flow where something creative came to you and you wrote it down, you started working on it, and as you're working on it, something else creative came to you. Have you ever been in that type of situation? So E, have you ever been in that type of situation?
All right, guys. E-Buck checking in with my 2 cents as usual. Well, okay. I myself, I'm highly frustrated by this discussion. Let me explain. Right now, the way my life is set up, it is very difficult to contend with my creative flow. The problem is that it just don't seem to be enough hours in the day for me to do the things that I would like to do on the creative end. The way my finances are set up, I'm pretty much working every day. The way my health is set up, I have to make sure, since I'm working every day, that I get enough quality rest, which I have not been getting. So, in order for me to take the time out to create some of the things that I would like to, it's kind of difficult at times, especially now that I'm setting myself up to not only work every day of that, but I'm also producing, co-producing, so on and so forth. So let's just say tonight, it's about 16 songs in my phone right now. That's like bits and pieces of creations that I would like to finish formulating and make songs, because the way our song apps work, we could just make straight up out the blue songs. Like make a song about the sunshine, and it'll just come up with the words and the music and all of that. And some of that comes out pretty good, all in all. But for us creative people, what we really like to do is like, okay, I want the song to be about the sunshine. I want this line, that line, this line, that line. Then I want to put this as the chorus. You know what I'm saying? We really want to get into it. You know what I'm saying? We want to get real
Mm-hmm.
hands with it at least as much as possible in the process. And I'm just not able to do that because it's very time consuming. So, when you think about people who actually do songs, some people, it takes days, weeks, months for them to do a song. You know what I'm saying? Other people,
Mm-hmm.
they'll knock out a song in like 20 minutes. Be like, yeah, we thought that song was a throwaway. And how many times have you heard that story in the past? We just kind of threw this on the album, and that ended up being the best song on the whole freaking album.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many Grammy songs are just that. So that's part of it. Then also, because like yourself, I'm not just thinking about music, I'm thinking about stories. I still got this notebook full of pieces of stories that I started back when I was like 10 and 11. And because my mind is set up now to where I could be far more detailed than I was as an 11-year-old, because I had no real life experience to speak of. Most of my stories was based on stuff that I seen on TV or whatever. There's those things I would like to work on. I got this big tub of, well, let me show y'all something right next to me here. When I get a minute, these things here, of
Oh,
course,
it's not.
green screen. So, okay, there you go. This is one of several coloring books that I have that I like to actually sit down and turn some music on
Mm-hmm.
and get the coloring and whatnot. And that brings forth other ideas of creativity and whatnot. But again, I just don't have the time to commit to doing so. And it's frustrating because I'd rather be doing some of those things than think about all the stuff that's going on in my head that I got to deal with. So having a creative flow is something I definitely can relate to. It's just right now I just don't have the time. And I think that comes into play with several people in the audience where, yeah, it's some stuff like that I thought about, but I need to sit down and really think about it to do it, and I just don't have the time to do that. That's my 2 cents on that there.
Yeah, I hear you, E. I have stories that I've written years ago that I haven't finished, and when I came across them, I'm like, oh shoot, I didn't finish this one. Oh shoot, I didn't finish that one, and then more stories as I'm saying to myself, I didn't finish these. More stories are coming to mind to write, and I got so many stories that have written, that is like I need to finish them, but then it's like I go back and write more, but then I stop, I go back, write more, and then I stop. Luckily, ChatGPT has been a good help to where I can put in my words and it structures it into story form for me. That's why if you go to my audio pod of Speaking Freely, you'll see a lot of my stories on there because ChatGPT helped me structure it and I used it as episodes for the pod. And that's why that's and one of the stories going with the scenario for the what would you do segment. It goes with the scenario. It's called The Same Guy, where she's dating the twin and didn't know she was dating the twin, and he didn't never mention he was a twin because he's tired of getting compared to being the to his twin. So you know how it is when you got a sibling close to you in age. I go to the same school, and what do teachers do? If you ain't a good student, but your sibling is, they always compare you to your sibling and then tell you, oh, but your brother gets straight A's while you can't get straight A, or your sister gets straight A's while you can't get straight A, and you don't like being compared to your sibling. Okay, right? You get tired of being compared to your sibling, especially when y'all close in age and go to the same school. So that's basically what in the same guy's story that she was dating the twin didn't know because he didn't tell her because he's tired of being compared to his twin. So he lived his grown life, adult life. Like he's mentioned that he has a brother, but he's never mentioned that the brother was a twin. And then like I said, when you heard me read the scenario, and I said the caveat where your friend C said twin and thinking it is your man or your girlfriend, and they're calling you, texting you, telling you they're cheating, but they're not really cheating because they never told you they was a twin. So I'm always in creative flow because I'm all, I don't just write stories, I write lyrics as well. And I've written a lot of them and I've put them in the song app and they come out as songs. And so recently, the last song I've written was a country song. And it's called The Same Boat. And the concept behind, well, before I wrote The Same Boat, I wrote a song called Love Triangle, which the that which one of the topics tonight is titled Love Triangle. But it's not your traditional love triangle where the woman's dating a man who's dating another woman. It's not your traditional love triangle. It's a woman in love with a man who's in love with another woman, and that woman's in love with another man. So they each have feelings for someone else, but they don't, like, she got feelings for him, but his feelings for her is not the same as her feelings for him. His feelings for the other woman is just like her feelings for him, but the other woman doesn't feel the same way. Like he don't feel for her, that other woman feels the same way about him. Like when he sees her as a little sister, because I'm sure you probably when you're younger, you saw your siblings' friend, thought they was cute, had a crush, and they saw you as either little brother, little sister. You saw, and that's how he saw her, as like a little sister, even though she expressed she had feelings, but he sees her as a little sister. And so the woman he's in love with kind of sees him in that same way. I guess sees him in that same way, like a little brother. So it's like it's not your like I said, it's not your typical When we get to that topic, I will be sharing this song with y'all so y'all can get an understanding. But so being in for me, like I said, being in my career, for I love it, but then I hate it because something new is always coming to me, and I can't finish what I started. And because I'm always starting something new, and then when I go back to what I started, I nothing comes to me right away. When it comes to writing lyrics for me, like you said, some people could write. It takes them maybe a month to write a good, real good song. For me, it don't take that long. I've written a full song in like 5 minutes because I stayed on it. I stayed on it. Sometimes it might take me longer because I might get distracted and then I might get distracted. So it takes me from what I was thinking at the moment as I'm writing the song. And then I got to remember, because if I'm not writing it down, I'm recording myself. Sometimes because sometimes when I do record myself, I'm singing as I'm singing the lyrics that come to me or I might have my notes open in my phone and write it down. And one place that I would say is not a crazy place to get creativity, but is the bathroom. It may sound crazy, but it's not crazy. Being in the bathroom, you can get creativity while in the bathroom. Because a lot of the songs, like while when I wrote the same boat song, that came to me while I was in the bathroom because I was thinking of the love triangle story. I said, what if I write an answer song to Love Triangle where he's explaining to her why he doesn't want to be with her? And it came to me, and I had my phone with me, so I was typing in the phone. Yep, that's why I say no matter, you could be anywhere, and when you in your creative flow, things are gonna come to you creative wise. If you got an iPhone, you got notes on there, you can put everything in your notes. If you don't have an iPhone, you got a Samsung. I'm sure there's a notes type of thing on the Samsung phone, or you use your voice recorder. Use the voice recorder. If it's a story and if it's flowing to you, use your voice recorder. Record yourself saying the chapters. And then after you say that if you got chapter one, you could take that voice note and put it in ChatGPT, and ChatGPT will transcribe it and put it in the way it's supposed to be, like when you're writing a book. Because I got two children's stories. Those are done. I got one that's called Stop Being a Bully, Be a Friend, and When Love Conquers Hate. So a lot of the children's stories, mention the princess. So that's basically what the story is. Is the girl? Her name is Love. She's like a princess, and hate is like the like Cinderella, how she had the evil stepsisters. Well, the same thing with Love. She had the evil sister, person in her life that's jealous, and she locked her up. She locked her up in the well, back in those days they had dungeons. They didn't have basements. It was dungeons, locked up in the dungeon. And it's like, I was like, that story came to me. I wrote that first before I wrote Stop Being a Bully, Be a Friend. And that one, that saying came to me because me and a friend of mine, when we was doing our show called Six and Road on radio, every story we came across was about a young kid being bullied, and then they turned around and commit suicide. In almost every episode, we talked about a kid being bullied. So I came up with Stop Being a Bully, Be a Friend. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to take that saying and make it into a story. And I made it into a story. And I'm like, now I just got to format it to, like, for book form. That's why I said that's where ChatGPT came handy in helping me do that. Then I was like, now I know Amazon, you can upload your stuff and they'll do the printing for you. They'll put it in book form for you, or you can put it as an ebook, or they'll print it as a book. And so when people order your book, it'll come to them as a book. I got the book cover and everything. ChatGPT helped me with that as well. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of writing, musically and story wise, because I've been in the creative field for a long time. And when I started writing in the beginning, I stopped. So I had a big gap. And then when I came across my stuff, it put me back in that creative flow where I started writing again, musically and stories. So we're going to take a commercial break. And we're going to get into the what would you do moment next. And you can answer the what would you do moment throughout the show. You know, and and that what would you do moment is what if you was dating a twin and didn't know it? And the caveat is your friend sees said twin out, think it's your mate, and they call you and tell you they're cheating. What would you do? So that's what we're gonna get into when we come back from this commercial break.
Next week's topics are love triangles and finding your creative flow. In our What Would You Do segment, we have a scenario for you. What would you do if the person you were dating was a twin and never told you? Here's the caveat. Your girlfriends or homeboys see the twin while they are hanging out. They think it's him or her and tell you he or she is cheating on you. What would you do in this situation?
Oh, you're on mute.
That is our What Would You Do segment for this evening. Please give some thought to that. And when we come back, we'll talk about that and other topics here on Speaking Freely with Ms Gigo, part of the Nighthawk Network. Nighthawk Network, our voices for our people.
If you're building your dream from scratch, mic in one hand, hustle in the other, this one's for you. Road to Stardom Network and Nighthawk Network present, a podcast for the indie by the indie, all genres, all grinds. From hip-hop to metal, jazz to trap, we're breaking boundaries. And it's not just artists. Entrepreneurs, creatives, and self-made bosses, we see you. We're giving you the spotlight. This ain't mainstream, this is your stream. Coming soon. Be ready.
All right. So, like I said, the scenario is you dated a twin, didn't know it. What would you do? Right? That is the scenario for speaking. That's the what would you do moment. But we're gonna get into. I think I'm gonna get into that love triangle. I want to get into that before I do the what would you do moment. I'm gonna get into that. Now, like I said, this topic came to me because of the song that I wrote called Love Triangle, where she's in love with him, he's in love with another woman, that other woman's in love with another man. I says not your traditional love triangle that you hear about or that you've been in. And so that's what I'm going to talk about. Have you ever been in a love triangle with you liking someone and they're liking someone else? You know. So before you answer that one, let's play the song with E so they can get an understanding of what I'm talking about.
With a man who was in love with another woman, and that woman was in love with another man. My heart thought he was the one, he thought she was the one, but in reality, none of us were meant to be. Because love wasn't ready for our hearts. The true love we seek is within us. We have to stop falling so quickly just 'cause we want love. I left a roadmap for my true love to find my heart and give it the love it deserves. And I can finally be happily loved. Feels like I'm in a love triangle where there's no love pouring into my heart, 'cause I fell for someone who was in love with someone else. But I wish it was me, because love wasn't ready for our heart. The true love we seek is within us. We have to stop falling so quickly just 'cause we want love. I left a roadmap for my true love to find my heart and give it the love it deserves.
Yep, that's basically what I'm saying about love triangle. Not your traditional love. You never heard a woman tell you she in a love triangle, like a love triangle like that. You might have heard her say, "I'm in love with a man," and there's another woman in the mix, or a guy say, "I'm in love with a woman." There's another man in the mix, but you never heard a woman or man say they in love with someone, and the person they love is in love with someone else, and that person that they love is in love with someone else. You never heard that. And that is a country song that I wrote. And I was like, yeah, it's not your traditional love triangle, but when you think of love triangle, you think of three people, or two women sharing the same man, or two men sharing the same woman, not knowing they're sharing the same person. Have you ever been in a situation where you could call it a love triangle? Either way I described it in the song, or the traditional way we call it a love triangle. E, have you ever been in a situation like that?
Have I been in love with someone who loves somebody else? I think the answer to that is yes for a lot of people that's been through their share of relationships. What it boils down to is you see this person in a certain way that they don't see you as. But
Mm-hmm.
meanwhile, the person that they see the way you see them don't see them that way. Now, sometimes that leads to y'all saying, okay, out of convenience, we'll deal with each other, but the other person comes online, so be it. And other times it's just, all right, this just a mess. And until I can find a different mess to get into, I'm just gonna keep trying to work this out. Um, I don't know. It's a lot going on there. It's a lot going on. I mean, bottom line is if you care about somebody and their feelings are not the same as your feelings, ain't too much you can do at that point.
Yeah.
I know people feel like, well, I could change them or I could change their mind. And I think that really comes from us watching too many rom coms over the years because in the movies that happens. In real life, not so much.
Nope.
So that's kind of where I'm at with that one.
And you see it in the song, she said, I left a roadmap for my true love. Like, they say, what is that saying? The person is like right, love is like right around the corner. That saying, love is around the corner. Nope. It's never, not always around the corner. You ain't gonna meet that person right away. Like with the song, she said the true love is within us. Yes, you gotta love yourself first before you go trying to love somebody else, because it ain't gonna work. It is not going to work. If you don't love yourself before you get into a relationship, it's never going to work. Because some things you're gonna have that feeling that something's missing, and you ain't gonna know what it is. You're gonna have that feeling like I don't know what it is, but something's missing in this relationship. And when it finally hits you, what's missing is you loving yourself. Because a lot of times we get into a relationship just because we want love, or just to say we in love. So you get with the wrong person, and she's in the song. She still want to be with that person, even though he don't want to be with her, and the person he wants to be with don't want to be with him. So, so like I said, when I was talking in the creative flow segment, and I said I wrote the song, the answer song to that. So in the answer song, I'm going to read some of the lyrics. He starts out. He starts out saying, "I knew you had feelings for me, but I didn't feel the same. Saw you like a little sister. That's why the love I felt wasn't the same." Then he says, "There's a man out there who is going to love you, but that man ain't me. I know you wish things were different between you and me, like falling in love and being together for eternity." So that's what I wrote. Some of what I wrote for the same boat. So he sees her as a little sister. He don't see her in a romantic way. He sees her as a little sister. And he and the woman he loves is seeing him the same way he sees her. So she's basically seeing him like a little brother. This woman he want to be with, she's basically seeing him like a little brother, just like he sees her like a little sister. And that's the to me that's kind of, you know, I know when you if you think of it as the two songs as real life, they both really feel hurt because they really want to be with the person, but the person don't want to be with them. And and I know she's probably like, when you think about it, she's probably saying to herself, the fictitious woman in this song, probably saying to herself, why does he see me like a little sister? I'm grown. I'm not no little kid. I'm grown. Another part to the same boat, he says, I'm in the same boat as you. The woman that I love feels the same way about me as I do about you. There's no eternity for me because she's in love with someone else. So, so Hugh says that's a roller coaster of mixed feelings. Yeah, it is. I've I've been in my younger days liking someone. I wouldn't call it a love triangle because I didn't date the person, but in my younger days, liking someone, and then they don't, like they said, see me as their little sister, even though we're not that far in age, but they still see me as their little sister. And then the person turned around was dating my cousin. So now, just now that turns, it ain't a love triangle, but when you think about it, here I like someone, but they turn around, they see me as a little sister, and then they're dating my cousin. Lord. And what's crazy is the whole time they were dating my cousin, I still had them feelings didn't go away. And I think, like the song, I don't think her feelings went away, but she knew she had to, love herself, so that her true love, who she's supposed to be with, can come. He says that straight up diabolic. I tell you. Now this is just song lyrics. Now if this was a true to life situation, we'd be seeing this on like Maury. We'd be seeing a situation like this on Maury. Even though Maury don't come on no more, but still that type of talk show, we probably would see the situation on a talk show like that. But he he being in the same world as her, know how she feel, that he see her as a little sister, not a woman he loves, sees him as a like a little brother. It's like, now you know how she feel. like in Love Triangle, the song, you gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself first before really getting into a relationship. Because if you don't, then you ain't gonna really get that true love you seek if you don't love yourself. Yep. Yeah. See? You agree with me? That's talk show material. Yeah, my see that's what I'm talking about, especially being in the creative flow when things come to you, because that came that when I was like I want to write a country song, and that came to me like a female singing for a female, and that came to me. Yep, and that came to me, and then after writing that one, I said, let me write the answer song so he could explain to her why he don't want to be with her because he see her as a little sister. But it's like if y'all, it's like we both grown, but yeah, if he's friends with like your sibling, yeah, he's always gonna see you as that little sister. That ain't never gonna change. I forgot what it was. I'm trying to think of the sitcom where the little sister had a crush on the brother's friend, and the brother, you know the br- and he's like, I see you as my little sister, but then he started noticing. He started noticing that she, she's grown now. She ain't the little sister no more. And I think in the love track, I think that's kind of what she wanted to happen for him to notice her as the grown woman now, not as the little sister, and and see if they could have a relationship. But I doubt it. If you put it in real life, I don't think it would happen. But I could sure write it because I'm such a creative. I could sure write it to make it happen. It'd be a part three. But now he realized she was the one, and they finally get together. That would be a part three to the damn song. But yeah, but I'm sure if you ain't been in one, someone's told you they've been in one, or you've seen it, maybe through movies or just watching TV in general, and people being in a love triangle. 'Cause I think on the soaps, All My Children, matter of fact, Erica Kane, she was um her daughter's father. She wound up being with his brother afterwards. Well, a long while afterwards, but not right away. But she wound up being with his brother. That was that's one for you where you start dating your child's father's brother, even though it's been years since you and that person been together, but still in all, why would you even go that route? Why would you go that route and date your child's uncle after being for so many years with the father? That's what but that's just a story in the soap operas. But if it was true to life, we'd be condemning the woman for doing that. But in soaps, nobody nobody condemned her. They let it happen. Then they stopped being together and she wound up with somebody else. So yeah. Well, that is it for this segment about love triangles. If something comes to you that you've been in one or you've heard about one, you can always post in the comments. So when you come back, you're gonna do the what would you do moment. And that is, what would you do if you were dating your twin and didn't know it? And the caveat is, said twin, your friends see the twin out thinking it's your person you're dating, and they tell you that they're cheating. What would you do? When
Next
we
week's
come back,
topics are love triangles and finding your creative flow. In our What Would You Do segment, we have a scenario for you. What would you do if the person you were dating was a twin and never told you? Here's the caveat. Your girlfriends or homeboys see the twin while they are hanging out. They think it's him or her and tell you he or she is cheating on you. What would you do?
yep, what would you do?
All right, that is the what did you do? We will get to that segment right after these words. Nighthawk Network, Nighthawk Network, our voices, our people. We shall be back, y'all.
Two new radio stations hit the net, Road to Stardom Radio and eBuck Beats Radio. Check us out on rdoai.com/RTSR or eBuck88 to hear great music created by us. You won't be disappointed.
Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's talk.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? Before we come back to the show, talking about that earlier topic, I just thought about something. Again, the creative flow is something that I definitely have struggles with right now. Another issue I'm having now is because modern technology is what it is. There's so many different modes and methods you can utilize in order to kind of help your creative flow process. Ro talked about some of it earlier. I actually found uh video editor slash creator that I was able to use to make a portion of a video. Let me show you that very quickly.
When you walk in, you are the love of my dreams. Only this time I'm wide awake. Every hope I hid in the dark, you turned it into something I can taste. You are the love of my dreams. This is more than wishing was.
Now that is just a 15-second video of a song that I made called Love of My Dreams. That's actually the remix version, the disco version by my artist Flowana, which is the actual person in the video. But again, it took maybe 45 minutes just to get that 15 seconds worth of video. So that's kind of what I'm talking about in some of my creative frustrations of it all. But anyway, back to the show.
So I ain't never dated no twin, but I thought about it. Many people have dated a twin, and I know they would date their twin. You know what I'm saying? It's like in my story, same guy. Here she is with this guy. They've been together for a while, and when when they have conversation, he tells her he has a brother, but he doesn't say his brother's a twin, and he's never mentioned the brother's name. He just say I got a brother. So you know, so just think about that, right? You dating a twin, you don't know you dating a twin. Your friend is calling you up, saying to you, "I just seen your man or your girl out with somebody. Yeah, I was at such and such club or such and such restaurant, and I saw your significant other with this person." And you say to yourself, "But my man or my woman's been here with me. So how was they out at the club? And it's like, you was at a club? And you know when she gets told that in the story, she does question it. And he says, no, I wasn't at no restaurant. Because he said he was work. So in the story, right, that works with this scenario, he said he was working overtime. So he didn't go anywhere. He was in the office. He comes home with a doggy bag from a restaurant. And inside doggy bag is his favorite food and dessert. Now I know people have, when they work overtime, they have food delivered to the office, right? But he said the coworker brought it for him. But in her, she's one in her mind. She's wondering, how does the coworker know your favorite food and dessert? So that gets her mind wondering if he really is cheating. Because how would your coworker know your favorite food and dessert? Because y'all don't got have deep conversations like that at work. Your main conversation at work is whatever y'all working on, whatever project, depending on what type of job you have. Y'all not sitting at work having deep conversation. So how would the coworker know what? But that's what he said. The coworker brought him his favorite food and dessert. He didn't eat it all, so he brought it home. And then after having that discussion, he goes and goes to the bathroom to take a shower. So that's another kind of making her suspicious. We're having a conversation, and while we're having you go to the bathroom to go take a shower. I get it. You worked overtime. You want to go take a shower. I get that. But what do you think about that, E? If let's say you dating someone, they're a twin. You don't know they're a twin. They come home with a doggy bag of their favorite food and dessert, and they tell you the coworker brought it.
Okay. The problem I have with this one really is the caveat in and of itself. Okay, if you take the caveat of this story out, this simply becomes what happens when you more or less either accuse or feel like your mate is cheating. Now, the caveat part comes into play because now we talk about a twin, and for whatever reason, this twin has told you nothing about his twin
Mm-hmm.
or her twin.
Yeah,
I myself,
they just say I got a brother or I got a sister. They don't say they twins though.
I myself have an issue with that right off the bat because I feel like that's something you should dispose early on in establishing your relationship with that person. Because there is always that possibility of what we have right here. Especially if you don't necessarily get along with that twin for whatever reason, which tends to happen, you should
Mm-hmm.
want that person to know that, okay, it's somebody out here that looks just like me, and it's a possibility you might run into them. Yes, I do have a twin. So why that person chose not to divulge that is an issue with me. That is a whole trust issue I have right there. Then of course, if that person comes with the story of okay, my coworker brought this food for me, and it just so happened my twin was at a restaurant, them two things don't necessarily connect. But my whole thing is that leads to a whole nother issue. Why is coworkers bringing you food? And more importantly, the first question you're gonna ask, obviously, is like, was it a male or female coworker? Not that that matters here in 2026, because just because it's a male don't mean that that person ain't cheating with the male. So that's another issue.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as in terms of what would I do, I myself would have a problem with not being told the necessary information here. If I have a twin, I'm letting you know that. Just like I'm letting you know I got two brothers, okay? When one of the early questions people usually ask, okay, you got family? Yep, I got two brothers. One of them is my twin. I don't even understand why that would not even come up in that part of the discussion unless you are purposely hiding the fact that you have a twin. So if you have a reason to do that, that's what I want to know in that moment. Why didn't I know you had a twin? And if I don't like the answer to that question, we got problems. And depending on how bad I don't like that answer, either at that point, yeah, this ain't gonna work, or at that point, okay, we need to call that person over right now and establish something here. So that's what I'm thinking on that one. If it's me, I'm not liking it. I'm not trying to deal with that. You dealing with my trust, and if I can't trust you, I can't be with you. Period.
I'm the same way. I like. I be. I won't. I'll be a little mad. I will be mad that you ain't tell me you was a twin. I will be mad, but I will make sure we have to just we sit down and discuss this because sometimes certain things don't want a relationship to break up. Certain things don't warrant that. But in the story that I wrote, he finally did break down and tell her that he was a twin, and the reason why he didn't tell her because girls, you know, being, when you a twin, and if your twin, if the girls see your twin is cuter than you, sometimes girls get close to you because they don't want you, they want your twin. So in the story, he's tired of being compared to his twin. Girls really didn't, like I said, girls didn't really want him like that. They were, trying to get to his twin. So that's why he, when he finally got with someone he really cared about, that's why he didn't mention about being a twin. But when he finally did break it down, she understood. So it wasn't nothing too serious to for them to break up, but they did have the discussion. And
Okay,
like you
now
said,
I just thought of something else because remember, in life there are different types of twins. People, there are of course the identical twins, which is what I'm thinking.
hmm
But then, of course, there's also the paternal twins where you may be a twin, but you don't necessarily look alike.
right.
But for the case of this story, because this person said they saw this person and it looked like your person, that's why I'm thinking identical. Now, again,
Yeah,
if
they
it's
are identical.
fraternal twins, that makes the story a little bit different. I'm still not happy that you're not letting me know that fact, but it's not as deep a issue as if you have an identical twin.
Because like I was saying, you don't like I was saying, you hate being compared. Like when you and your siblings close in age, I go to the same school or whatever, and you know how people compare y'all, and you hate that being compared to your twin. It's like y'all don't live the same type of life, but people's always comparing y'all. So you get tired of it. So you don't mention when you meet people that you have a twin. And then when he's dating this girl in the story, he never told her, and then the friends see the twin out, thinking it's him, and it's not him. They see him out with another woman, so they thinking, oh, he cheating on my girl. Let me call and they call her, let her know, and she's like, nah, that's not my man. That's not my man. And then when she mentions to him the restaurant that her friend saw the twin at, he's like, I've never been there. That's the crazy thing is when the friends tell all the deets and she bring it back to him, he says he's never been to that restaurant. And what's crazy is when they when she goes to the same restaurant with her friends, the twin comes in with his girl and they sitting at another table, but she's not there yet. The friends are there, but she's not there yet. And they see him again and they like, and they call her while she's on her way, and then when she gets there, she sees him and thinking it's him, but it's not him. It's his twin. That's what makes it even like he's not telling her in the beginning, like you say, she's upfront and say it, but when you live your life being compared to your twin, and you and your twin is nothing alike, you get tired of it, so you just don't mention it. And I guess she's like, when you think of the story, she's one of them people that you know, don't go deep into asking questions to get all the details. And so, but when he did finally break down and tell her, he's like, I was tired of getting compared to my twin. And then, these women have these fantasies of being with twins. So it's like, so that's another thing, the women having the fantasies of being with a twin. And it's like, that was the type of woman he was meeting. So I was like, dang, am I really gonna meet somebody who just want to be with me and not me and my twin? Because they got a freaky fantasy of being with twins. So what would you do in that situation? Would you be mad once you find out they really are a twin? Is that something you would end the relationship on, or you could continue the relationship? And if your friends met your man, but they don't know he a twin either. So it's like they seeing the twin out thinking it's your man, or they're seeing the twin out thinking it's your girlfriend. Are you going to take them at their word and think that they're cheating, or are you going to ask questions when they come home, to find out if it's true? Now he said that he's never been to the restaurant that the friends said they saw him at. So she kind of believed him and kind of didn't believe him, because when she saw for herself, when she finally got to the place, saw for herself that he was there, thinking it was him when it wasn't him, she was like, oh, he lied to me about never being at this restaurant. So for me, if I dated a twin, especially if they're identical, I gotta make sure I could tell them apart. That's one. Because when you date a twin, and it's hard to, because even having twins sometimes for people is hard to even tell their own children apart. For some, it's hard. So I know for me, dating one, if they look exactly like, it might be hard. Like, you remember the episode of Sister Sister, when they had to take that test and they switched. She had Tia take that test for her. But, yeah, and the teacher couldn't tell the difference, and then they wound up getting busted anyway. But still, if a teacher, you know what I'm saying, if a teacher can't tell the two twins apart, just imagine how many people can't tell them apart. But you, as a twin, that's your that's not the person you're dating. You know your twin is dating that person, because they're gonna tell you who they dating. So she may not know, but you, as a twin, would know that your twin is dating someone. Yeah, dating a twin, if especially identical, and you can't. It's hard for you to tell them apart. Because I'm trying to think, what show was I watching, and she was dating a twin, and she came. I think she came home, and the twin was there, and she wound up kissing the twin, thinking she was kissing her man. I forgot what show was that I was watching, but and the twin didn't say anything. That's the crazy part. You know you not her man, but you let her kiss you and you ain't say nothing. Yeah. Being in this creative flow, I can write a lot of stories. I can write a lot of stories where it could be about twins or people sharing the same person. I could, being in my creative flow, I could write a lot of stories like that. So have you ever, like, what would you do in this situation? For those of you who are in the chat, what would you do in this situation? What would you do? I'd be mad, but it wouldn't be nothing to break up over. I don't think it would be anything to break up over. It's nothing to break up over. Because once they break it down to your why, they didn't tell you, you're gonna have an understanding heart and understand where they're coming from. Yeah, I know I would. I'm, but there are some people out there who have that type of fantasy to want to be with twins. So I understand, you know, meeting women and they find out you're a twin and hear that the bell rings in their head. Ooh, I would love to be with it. But yeah, what would you do if I was a twin? I'd make sh- I'd make sure up front that the person that I'm talking to know I'm a twin. Make sure they meet my twin. When they get to that point that we're in a serious relationship, I'll make sure they meet my twin. But but while I'm dating them, I will tell my twin about them so that they don't make the mistake. Because you could be out and about, especially being a twin, and you can run into the same person your twin is dating, not knowing that that's who your twin is dating, and wind up dating the same person. Or that person might see your twin and think it is you and start striking up a conversation. A lot of things, a lot of things can happen in this scenario. Yep. And what if the person is one of them people who does have freaky thoughts of being with a twin and realizes you a twin and try to get with your twin just because they want to see if your twin is better in bed than you. I mean, you got people who think like that. Yep, you got people who think like that. So that is the what would you do moment. You can always answer the question. Any topic that's mentioned on the show, you can always answer at any time. Because I know some people don't come in as soon as the show start. So you can answer it anytime. That was the what would you do moment for this week's Speaking Freely. And we're going to call it a night. Yep. And I will be posting, as I always do, the topics for the next show and the what would you do moment, or what would you do segment, to my Facebook page. So you see it, you'll know what's for the next show. I haven't figured out what topics I'm gonna do for the next show. But I know I'm gonna be very creative when it comes to my "What Would You Do" moment segment that I changed it to from moment to segment. I'm gonna start being real creative with it. To really keep you on your toes, keep keep you on your toes, keep you thinking. Because a lot of times, some of these can be true to life for some people. Not all, but could be true to life for some people. Yeah. Oh, and check out our stations on Radio AI. Yep. There you'll get a mixed variety of music. You get some jazz, you get some country, you get some hip hop, you get some R&B, some gospel, some classic. Well, on my station, you I got some classical. And for the indie experience episode for tomorrow night, I'm going to do a second classical episode. I'm going to do a second classical episode, and all the songs that will be played is coming from the Simmons Orchestra. So it's five five songs we'll be hearing from this classical songs we'll be hearing from the Simmons Orchestra. If there's any genres that you would like for me on the In the Experience podcast to delve into that I haven't, just let me know and I will create my own songs in that genre. If you like house music and you want me to create songs in that genre, I'll create songs in that genre. If you, I haven't created any rock yet, but if you're a person who's into rock, you want to hear some rock, I'll create some songs in that genre, and then I'll do an episode on that genre, and we'll get to learn about that genre as well as hear some great music. So you can always hit me up on the Road to Stardom Facebook page. On the Road to Stardom Facebook page, you can always hit me up there or inbox me on my personal page and say, hey, would love if you would do this genre. Like with the classical genre, Hugh mentioned it one episode, and I was like, I haven't done classical, and then here we are. Now I'm doing classical. So if there's any genre that you like that I haven't done on the Indie Experience podcast, or if there's any topics that you think would be a great topic for this show, you can always hit me up on the Road to Stardom page, my personal page, and say, here's a great topic you could do for speaking freely. Yep. Make sure you follow me on the YouTube at Road to Stardom Network TV. Subscribe to the channel. If you hit the notification bell to let you know when I'm live. When I go live, it'll let you know when I post anything. You can go like the Road to Stardom page on Facebook. So as you see the logo behind me, that's what you will see on the page. It will say the cover photo will be Road to Stardom LLC. The actual picture will be my logo because I have two logos. I have two of the same logos. One is white and this one is black. So you can see that on the page. I also have a Road to Stardom Radio page on Facebook as well. So you could go like that page. Yep. So that is it for tonight's show. Like I said, see you for the next show, which is the Indie Experience Podcast. We'll be doing classical once again. I'm hoping to bring more guests. If you know of any indie artists out there that you think will want to be on the podcast, you can hit me up and let me know about them. I'll check them out. So that is it for Speaking Freely with Ms Gigo. I'll see you at the next one. We out, E.
I love speaking freely so the masses can hear what I have to say about different topics that plague my mind every day. Speaking freely with Ms Gigo is a show where I'm going to let all my thoughts come out and you can give your opinion too, 'cause you're speaking freely. Not only will I be speaking freely, I will be sharing my stories too.